Taehyung is eating his breakfast fastly while Mr. Kim sighs at his son's desperate attempt. After gulping the strawberry milk, he looks at his family with a smile. Dad, I want you to support Jungkook's family. But not letting them know about it. Just do one thing, make it as a project and help the whole area. Last night I researched a lot and found out that the area is undeveloped with poor people. Taehyung speaks hurriedly as if a little bit of late would suffer his jewel. Calm down, young man. I will handle this matter on my own, Mr. Kim said with his cold tone. Taehyung is a reflection of himself. He was so passionate about Mrs. Kim that he didn't mind leaving billions of dollars of wealth. But his son is way crazier than he ever was. No dad, I don't want you to be late. You have to do it. But don't do this right now. Do it after Jungkook left from there. He shouldn't know somehow this is connected with me, Taehyung said while panicking badly. He knows Jungkook's self-respect. He knows his jewel would die in shame if it ever came out. Already he suffered so much and now Taehyung wants to be his piece only. I guess with Jungkook the deal would be better. Don't worry about that, everything will be handled perfectly, Mr. Kim assured Taehyung, who smiled widely. He knows his father won't do anything which will hurt him. Okay, then I am leaving. I lied to Jungkook that mom invited him. But I have to do it. Otherwise he won't agree to come here. Taehyung pouted as his pitiful face is the most workable weapon in front of his parents. Okay, I will make something nice and tasty for him, Mrs. Kim said with a smile while Mr. Kim sighs and looks at her. You don't have to cook. You already cooked yesterday. You should rest now. Mr. Kim always wanted a lavish life for his wife. He never let her do anything. He wants to keep her as a fragile doll. Jungkook was laughing with Eunha, who was pouting as Soren scolded her for being careless. This morning is much more peaceful for Jungkook. He woke up late after a long, exhausting week. Then the warm rice smell makes him feel like he is at home. But the chaos is about Eunha boiling water and holding the pot too carelessly. It could have slipped from his hand. Soren is right, Eunha. You can't do work like this. You could have told me to hold the pot. What if you spilled the water? Jungkook also chimed with Soren while Eunha pouted. Okay, I was careless. No need to scold me for this long. I will be careful next time. Eunha reassures them still with the pout. As they were talking a loud cheer erupted. Jungkook glanced at the door. The place is always blasting with noises but not this much. The sound always comes when someone is in trouble or anything great happens. Both Jungkook and Eunha come over the door, opening it frantically as they are really tense for their neighbors. In this area none are related by blood, but they are related by heart. As they come out from their house, their feet frozen witnessing the scene unfold. A luxurious limited edition sports car just in front of their area entrance. And leaning casually against the hood, with one hand in his pocket and a teasing smirk on his face, was Taehyung. He didn't mind the children applying clay on his car. He only witnessed the boy in front of him, looking at him shocked, giving him a full view of those midnight sapphire orbs. His ruby hair cradling due to light breeze. If anything in Xylos is more precious than it's standing just in front of him as a human. His Jungkookie, his love. Eunha holds Jungkook's hand tightly. Her mouth is also azar. She glanced at Jungkook, who was looking at Taehyung. Jungkook tilde ie oppa, is this your boyfriend? Eunha didn't intend to shout out loud, but anyway the sound came. Too loud, gaining everyone's attention. Jungkook's head snapped to her almost immediately. He clutched Eunha's hand tightly and glared at her. Eunha's doubt and innocent question brought Jungkook in the pile of shame. His whole face turned scarlet as Eunha smiled innocently. Stop it. He isn't my boyfriend, just a classmate. Jungkook cleared out the confusion, but no one bought it. Who would accept everything in the first place? Also, a person like Jungkook, who is shy and timid, would never accept this loudly. Taehyung smirks while listening to what his would-be sister-in-law said. He pushed back himself from the car and walked towards Jungkook gracefully. The distance was erased with each step of Taehyung's. He stood in front of Jungkook's house and smiled at him. How are you, Jewel? You are looking a bit pale. Taehyung asked with sincerity. He can say his Jungkookie is really happy in his home, but his heart clenched looking at the house state. His Jungkookie is suffering. How Taehyung wished to kill himself. How Taehyung wished to take away every ache from his Jewel. I forgot to ask Grandma. I should go and ask her. Jungkook said with a nervous smile while Taehyung held his hand, stopping him from walking away. You won't invite me inside? Taehyung said with a pout while Eunha held Taehyung's hand. Taehyung looked at her and smiled warmly. No, no handsome, please come inside our home. Ma will love it if you introduce yourself with her. Please come, Eunha said with a shy smile as she was already imagining Taehyung as his brother-in-law. They walked inside the house while Jungkook was biting his teeth. He doesn't want Taehyung to behave badly with his ma or Eunha. He glanced at Taehyung who sat on the hard wooden bed without any hesitation. Jungkook looked at Taehyung's face. Sweat clung to his forehead sliding down from the honey-tan skin lazily. His jade green eyes roaming around the house with amusement. Those eyes aren't judgmental but something comforting for Jungkook. Taehyung smiled at Soren who was sleeping on the soft bed Jungkook made. Grandma walks outside from the kitchen while wiping their hand on the apron. Her eyes widened watching such a handsome boy in front of him. She smiled politely and walked a bit. Welcome, young man. You must be Jungkook's friend Eunha mentioned earlier. Please forgive our poor home. Please make yourself comfortable, Grandma said with a smile. Her voice held a different kind of soothing that Taehyung found himself grateful for. Taehyung stood up slowly and bowed to Grandma with utmost respect. Grandma smiled at his politeness. No, madam, don't say such things. Your house is warm and cozy. And I should thank you for inviting me inside, Taehyung said while sitting on the bed with a smile. Watching him, no one can say he is uncomfortable here. And the thing shocked Jungkook. Grandma smiled warmly and disappeared in the kitchen. She came back with a tray full of rice cake. She placed the tray beside Taehyung and gave him a glass made of clay. Taehyung took the glass and took one rice cake, munching the cake with a shining smile. Delicious. Better than anything I've had at my house. Actually, my mother cooks really well but my dad doesn't allow her in the kitchen. He always comes for some reason and mom can't win against him. Taehyung said so freely as if he was one of the family members. What is your name, son? Grandma asked, smiling at Taehyung. She really likes the sunshine boy. Watching his clothes and appearance, it's clear he belongs to wealth. Taehyung, Kim Taehyung, madam, classmate and friend of Jungkook's. Soon to be your grandson-in-law. Taehyung mumbled the last part which no one listened to. Did you say something? Grandma asked while Taehyung shook his head but nodded just in the next second. He tried to deny he said something. But remember, he needs permission for taking Jungkook. Tilda Granny, can I take Jungkook to my house? I will drop him here in the evening. Eunha also can join us. Taehyung said hurriedly as if he was scared of rejection. A little bit about Jungkook is making him restless. Make his heart ache. My son, they will go, actually you can understand. Grandma said with a hesitation. How can she allow someone else to take her most precious treasure? Don't worry, Granny, I am promising you they will be unharmed. Taehyung said sincerely while Grandma nodded her head. She agreed that there is still some hesitation. Star operator. Jungkook holds Eunha's hand as they step inside the Kim mansion. The mansion is looking like a dream to them. The marble floor is glittering with the silver chandelier's light. The air is carrying a rose fragrance. Grand staircase with wooden railing looking mesmerizing. Eunha clutched Jungkook's hand hard. Jungkook looked at her with his sapphire eyes. Kooky, is this real? Or are we dreaming? Eunha asked with awe as the house is nothing but a fairy tale to them. The mansion was like another world, so far from their hut with its creaking wooden bed and smoky kitchen walls. Jungkook squeezed her hand tightly. These all are real, princess. Come, let Oppa give you a house tour. Taehyung said cheerfully while Jungkook and Eunha were looking around. They were busy when a beautiful middle-aged woman came. Mrs. Kim approached the trio. She is looking graceful with her politeness. She smiled at Jungkook and Taehyung's direction and crouched down to Eunha's level. She ruffled the little girl's hair tenderly. The gentle smile on her face makes Eunha smile also. You must be Eunha. Welcome, little one. I prepared something sweet for you. Come, son, I was waiting for you. Mrs. Kim smiles at Jungkook who smiles politely at her. Eunha blinked, almost forgetting how to breathe before she managed a shy bow. Jungkook followed quickly, bowing low. He cursed himself for forgetting the basic things. Mrs. Kim laughs at their cuteness. Thank you for inviting us. I apologize if we cause any inconvenience. Jungkook bowed again politely. Mrs. Kim was awestruck by his beauty but now his honey-toned voice took her heart away. She knows now why her son is head over hill for this sapphire-eyed boy. There is no inconvenience, Jungkook. You are welcome here, Mrs. Kim said while leading them to the living room couch. Jungkook was kinda awkward as he never witnessed this much luxury. Also his world and Taehyung's world is too different. Mr. Kim observes everything. His sharp eyes missed nothing. He stayed seated on the couch. Watching the boy whom his son loves, he feels sudden softness other than his family. Jungkook moves his head around the house only to lock with the jade green eyes. And like every time his heart skipped some beat. He came back to his senses when Eunha shook him a little. Jungkook flinched and glanced at the direction only to witness Eunha mouthed, "What's wrong?" He shook his head and walked alongside Eunha. "Sit down, I am coming just in a second. Taehyung, make sure they are comfortable. Talk with your friend," Mrs. Kim said and left for the kitchen. Jungkook sits on the couch. Eunha pressed beside him. Taehyung sits beside Jungkook, and across them sits Mr. Kim. Jungkook stood up and bowed to him. As he takes a glance of the male, his feet frozen in place. He has seen this man. The man who is always on news channel headlines for achieving success. Watching him so close makes him shiver. "Welcome to our home," Mr. Kim said with his deep voice while Jungkook looked up and smiled slightly. "Thanks for welcoming us, sir," Jungkook said with a smile. Taehyung looks at his father with a glare but he just ignores it. His eyes are back on Jungkook. This boy is actually something. Mr. Kim has the capabilities of reading people's minds. He can see Jungkook's confidence. His eyes held no greed, only amusement. He just thinks in his mind. A boy with pride, but not arrogance. With burden, yet not weakness. He chuckles slightly with a deep voice while Mrs. Kim returns holding a tray filled with various snacks. "Cookie, is he scary?" "His eyes are like a hawk," Eunha asked innocently. She bit her tongue just after saying this. Mr. Kim looked at her with amusement. "So where are you from?" Mr. Kim asked while Jungkook told him his address. Mr. Kim nodded before saying something. "Oh, I am starting a project there." Taehyung froze in his place while Jungkook looked at Mr. Kim. Taehyung again glared at his father. He is scared of saying something. Scared of hurting Jungkook's self-respect. Scared of losing Jungkook even before he gets a chance. His throat tightened at the thought. The violence shook in his hand, clearly showing his nervousness. His entire mind is screaming loudly that Jungkook shouldn't feel low. His jewel shouldn't feel insulted in his own future home. His eyes filled with tears, which Mr. Kim noticed and chuckled slightly. The boy who barely left himself vulnerable now is on the edge of crying because there was the slightest chance his beloved could feel insulted. "Oh, what is it, sir? Is it any company or something else?" Jungkook asked with a scared tone. He witnessed a few incidents where businessmen tried to buy their house at the cheapest price just to build a building for their company. He is scared as by the name of fortune they only have the house. "Impressive little one. No one asked me any questions directly." Mr. Kim is really impressed by Jungkook's statement. "Dad tilde, I guess we shouldn't talk about business." Taehyung tried to break the uncomfortable silence. "Or the topic which is hurting his heart." No Taehyung, I trust your friend. I hope he won't publish it. Actually, I have a political project with your area's mayor. We are just developing the area. Also, the lake beside your area is considered as the most beautiful place in our whole city. But you know what the state of this lake is. The lakeside will be all cleaning up along with some gazebo. So it can draw other cities' attention," Mr. Kim said and glared at Taehyung, who smiled at him. He felt relief as his dad didn't break his hope. Well, he has full faith his father won't hurt him, but in his jewel's case he couldn't be careless. Sir, I have an idea. You could gain more attention by renovating the garden beside the lake. You can break the fence of the garden by the lakeside and also can charge a minimum amount for entering the area. This way you can get the money you invested on the project, and the garden, which is all ruined now, also can be saved. The garden's owner is ready to sell the plot as people are misusing it." Jungkook said hesitantly. "Not many people would love to go inside the garden while paying." "Your idea is top-notch, but who would like to enter inside the garden paying money?" Mr. Kim pointed out his mistake right at the moment. He is impressed by the boy a little bit too much. "I will pay." If Jungkook said this, then it's really a good idea. You are such a talented Jungkook. How can you give such an amazing idea? For this plan I should celebrate. Dad, you should take business class from Jungkook, Taehyung said with a proud smile while Mr. Kim sighs at his son's desperation. And Jungkook turned all red with compliments. "That's why I said to minimize the amount. Like 1 talent is enough," Jungkook said with a nervous smile. He still doesn't have an idea about business. Talent is the currency name in Xylos. 1 talent, not a bad idea, at least a good one. Mr. Kim smiled at Jungkook, who also showed his polite smile. Eunha sat beside Jungkook, hesitant to take the sweets from the tray, so Mrs. Kim handed her a plate while ruffling her hair. "Please eat. And hubby, I forbade something. You are talking about business in my home. You seriously want to sleep on the road?" Mrs. Kim glared at husband, whose entire stoic demeanor changed. He turned into a soft man clinging to his wife. "Jungkook, Princess Eunha came with me. Let me show you my room and whole house. Also the terrace garden. You guys will love it. Let me introduce you both to QMY younger brother. He is really a good painter. You guys will like it. Yes, handsome. Let's go. I love painting, Eun-ha said enthusiastically. Taehyung held his hand gently and led them the way. Eun-ha was awestruck by the beauty of the mansion. Jungkook is no good. He was witnessing everything with widened eyes. They passed a long corridor. The last room of the corridor is their destination. Taehyung knocked on the door, which was opened by a beautiful boy with a bright smile. Jungkook and Eun-ha smiled at them. Jungkookie, he is Yoonjin, my younger brother. Let me show you guys his painting. Taehyung introduced them while Yoonjin smiled at his would-be brother-in-law and his sister. Please come inside the room. Actually, I was doing something, Yoonjin said with an apologetic smile. He moved away a little, giving them space for them to enter inside. They both enter the room. Eun-ha tugged Jungkook's sleeve with excitement as her eyes roamed around the room. The room is too big. Eun-ha can compare their house with Yoonjin's room, but their house will be smaller. How tragic a life can be. On one side people have all the luxury, on the other side some people don't have food to fill their stomach. Wow, so many paintings. Kookie, look. Wow, this is looking too pretty. How can it seem so beautiful? You are really a good painter, Oppa. Eun-ha squeals in happiness. She is pointing at the painting where Yoonjin made a painting of a waterfall. Jungkook looks at his sister, then at the direction she is pointing. Jungkook also smiles looking at the beautiful painting. Then his gaze fell on Eun-ha, who was smiling, roaming his eyes around the room. Yoonjin chuckled slightly looking at the enthusiastic little bean squealing around the room. He leaned on the wall and pointed at one painting and later walked over to show them. He pulled the red velvet cover from the painting. This one is my favorite. I was painting the spring festival we had last year. We had so much fun and the festival was too good. We never had this fun, Yoonjin said with a smile. Jungkook and Eun-ha look at the beautiful painting. Yoonjin smiled wholeheartedly. Taehyung walked over to Jungkook. His eyes are holding a proud feeling for his brother. His brother is really a gem in the whole Kim. Jungkookie, do you know? Yoonjin is the most talented in our family. Mom says one day he will make the Kim name shine through art. Dad doesn't like art much, but once he will show him his painting magic he will also like it. Taehyung said with a smile while Jungkook smiled at their bond. Yes, he will. He is really good at this age, Jungkook said while admiring the beautiful painting. His heart feels the ease of admiring each painting. Can you draw me too? I want to be pretty like the flowers in your painting. Eun-ha smiled innocently. Her innocence brought a beautiful smile to Yoonjin's face. Yoonjin crouched down in front of her and ruffled her hair lovingly. Eun-ha's eyes sparkled with happiness. Of course. But you're already prettier than flowers, little one. Flowers will get jealous if I compare. You know, pretty angel, Yoonjin said with a smile. Eun-ha blushed after hearing the compliment. Let's go to the terrace, everyone. Yoonjin, you also join us. You will love it. The garden is good looking, I guess. Taehyung chuckled as he himself didn't know what the garden looked like. He didn't even go there. He just loves to spend his time planning what he can do to annoy people. They reached the terrace. The terrace is looking beautiful with different flowers. Rose and lilies' beautiful scents filled the air. Jungkook looked at the whole garden with awe. But his gaze fixed on the flower, which is different from the flower he ever witnessed. There are plenty of them. Different kinds of flowers are like magic. He was so immense that he didn't even acknowledge. Eun-ha freed her hand and left from his side. Eun-ha's eyes sparkled as she witnessed the tulip.